Hello and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I didn't realize I sound like a bro right now, but I guess I do. So awesome. I am one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And we have news about stuff. Michael, how are you today?
I am sore everywhere.
Why are you sore?
I don't know. I've had like a terrible ear throat thing going on for 2 days now.
You get sick very easily. I'm the opposite. I never get sick, but then when I get sick, it sucks. But
here's the thing. I'm not necessarily sick. I just have terrible symptoms. My body is just constantly falling apart. I'm going to assume it's due to my terrible diet of fast food and soda and no actual nutrients.
I just think that you were born a lemon, just like your car.
I am a lemon. I was born
You just don't work right. You were never meant to exist.
That's a possibility. Who knows?
God built you out of the box full of a bunch of parts they couldn't find matches to.
Wow, that feels harsh. Like a terrible Lego contraption.
Yeah, the truth often is. You're like Mangle from Five Nights at Freddy's. But we're gonna move on. So we've got news and updates. And Mike, why don't you go ahead and start us out with? You want to do your plug? You like to do your plug? Let's do your plug.
So, if you don't know and you're unaware, we are trying to expand and also trying to make the show grow. And to do so, we have a Patreon. We have some exclusive stuff going up on there for those who are subscribed, and you can get cool perks like getting questions read on the show and also early access. So if you'd like to support us and help us grow, you can do so over there. That's it.
Great. Awesome. Good stuff. Always nice to hear from you. Okay.
Help me repair my broken body. Thanks.
I don't think you can repair that. No amount of duct tape is gonna turn you into a human again. But so we're gonna go ahead and move on to our news and updates. Mike, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
So there is an interesting rumor going around that Xbox could be announcing another studio acquisition this month. Twitter user Clobril, I think that's how you say it, who has leaked reliable Microsoft related information previously, claimed that Relic Entertainment will be joining the Xbox brand. Relic Entertainment is known for creating Age of Empires, RTS game.
All right. Atlas USA wants your feedback. I don't know why I keep talking like this. I should probably stop. Atlas put out an interesting survey for fans of Persona and other Atlas properties, such as Catherine. In the US version of the survey, Atlas asks about things relating to Persona, including ports to Xbox One, Switch, PC, DLC, remasters, and remakes, as well as sequels and the next installment. The Japanese version asks if you would like to play the next installment on Switch, PC, PS4, PSVR, smartphones, or other. I would love to play it on VR. I really love getting sick while I play games. It's great. Similar questions apply to Catherine, and other Atlas IP. So, yeah, fun stuff.
Diablo, Warcraft, and Warcraft 2 are being re-released by Blizzard, or more accurately, being allowed to be re-released. The games plan to be released on GOG and are the original forms of the games, but updated as needed to run on modern PCs. Diablo 1 is currently available now as the single-player only campaign, and the Warcraft games may release in 2019 or later, depending on GOG's ability to get the games running on PC.
Just don't have BioWare make it and you'll be good. PS4 firmware 6.5. Oh, I'm all about the hate right now. I'm all about the hate.
So you've transitioned to jumping on the hate train?
No, I play the game, but these bugs. And to think I was thinking of getting it.
That's why I'm angry.
And to think that I wanted to get this on PS4. I may have died if I got it on PS4. It's very possible that I may have died, or at least my PS4 would have died, which is like the same thing. Moving on, PS4 firmware 6.5 brings remote play to iOS. And at first, I was reading this and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So until it's not. So the new firmware and app on the App Store allow users with iOS to stream games to their device if they're on the same house and network.
Yeah, remote play is the coolest, most useless feature ever.
Yeah, congratulations. You can play a game,
screen share
on
basically
on your phone on the couch right next to the TV that you could be playing on. So, good job. I'm proud. Otherwise, no new features. And guess what? PSN name changes. We'll probably have to wait until firmware 7.0. At least 7.0 is when they'll release it, and it'll be terrible, and then they'll just give up. So
they'll just close PSN.
We did I think an entire episode on the whole name change business. We went over programming, how it works, and why it's basically what name changes are like, trying to fix a Jenga tower at its base before and keeping the Jenga tower stable, like by pulling stuff out of its base. It's a mess. It doesn't work well. So, all right, let's move on to the next update though.
Friday the 13th is coming to Switch. The popular multiplayer game starring Jason Voorhees will be launching on Switch in 2019. The game will include all the previous DLC, except for the Kickstarter skins. However, as with the other versions of the game, it will not be getting any new content due to the ongoing lawsuit between the original scriptwriter and the company that was handling the IP. So, cool, and also a bummer.
Makes me think of Destiny a little bit. Only with the guy that wrote all the music.
Fair enough, yeah. That was a terrible situation.
Yeah, well, he's swimming in it, so he's doing good.
Yeah.
Game Pass isn't coming to Switch anytime soon. Brad Sims of Thurrott.com, who we are still not that familiar with, he stated, quote, "There has been a lot to talk about out there about Game Pass on the Switch. I'm hearing from multiple sources that it is not happening. Let me clarify that it is definitely not happening in this near term. I can't ever say never, because Microsoft wants Game Pass on TVs, they want it on PCs, they want it on Xbox, they want it everywhere with their xCloud stuff. But as of right now, I'm hearing from multiple people that it isn't coming to the Switch. Obviously, things could change and all that good stuff, but yeah, don't expect Game Pass on the Switch anytime soon. At least that's what I'm hearing." So, yeah, temper your Xbox taking over the game industry through digital content for the time being.
Yeah, they're not going to conquer everything with Game Pass yet. However, we do have tons of Xbox news in the full news, so we can get into the full news here and talk about Brad some more, because why not? The discless Xbox One could be coming sooner than we think. According to WindowsCentral.com, the Xbox Maverick will be called, quote, Xbox One S All Digital Edition, unquote, and pre-orders could start in April of this year. As discussed by Brad Sams, again, from Thurrott.com, Microsoft has been working on a discless Xbox One S. And according to Windows Central, Microsoft is aiming for pre-orders in mid-April with a general launch in early May.
So the fact that this is going to be the leaked name is Xbox One S All Digital Edition, this leads me to believe that it will have basically no hardware jumps from the One S at all, except for it being diskless. It'll be a 1S and probably a smaller chassis because it doesn't need the disc reader in it.
Right. That has always been what I kind of assumed it would be. It's just a cheaper alternative to the S. So,
and the S is already pretty cheap.
Yeah, you can get an S for what, 200, 300, depending on whether or not they're sales.
I'm actually not sure. I'm curious. I'm gonna search this.
I've definitely seen them for 200, but I think that's for when they've been on sale or like Black Friday sales or stuff like that.
All right, let me take a look here.
Let's see. I'm saying like 300, 250, depending on the bundle.
Let me take a look here. Still, let's take a look here. So, do they still have the Fallout 76 bundle? That'll correct me up.
They do.
They don't just have a straight up bundle.
There's one.
They don't just have a straight up console.
There's one on Walmart I'm seeing that's $209 for 1 terabyte of white Xbox One S.
Yeah. So suffice it to say, it's pretty cheap. And imagine how much cheaper it's going to get with the discless alternative. Yeah. This will definitely be a very competitive entry-level price for console gaming. Definitely.
Right. Here's one thing I do want to ask real quick, because with this will come the digital initiative. I forget what they called it, the program. But basically, if you decide to get one, you can get digital codes for all your games. I wonder if just in general you'll be able to do that. I doubt it, but it would be nice if I could just take my games to a Microsoft store and be like, hey, like, can I just get the digital versions of these instead of having to buy them all again?
I could see them doing that. It does. I don't think they'll care if you have I don't think they'll care if you actually have the new 1S or any
like
other
an X
console
or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious because like older games, their price can jump varyingly when you buy them physically, depending on whether or not they're backwards compatible or not. So it might be one of those things where they say no because of the used game market like that. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works.
Keep in mind as well that game companies, you know, the physical games kind of going out of the way. Don't get me wrong; they still sell a lot of copies, but from what I've come to understand, most game sales are predominantly digital. Like that's how it is. And companies can save money on that as well, because then they don't pay for making the game cases, making the discs, all the game cards that are inside, when they could all just give that to you with a digital code. So I think ideally they are also, aside from making the price point cheaper, they're of course going to be saving money because even more of their games now will probably be made available digitally. Oh, that was a bad way to say that. More of their sales, even more, will be made digitally. And sooner or later, once, you know, we're all going to a point where we think like someday, probably in the far future, there might not even be any game discs at all. Like it'll just be everything is just digital.
We saw it with PC. I stopped by Walmart's PC section for games, and it's like ridiculously terrible. Like how many games they sell on disc for a PC. So it could be coming, it could not. I don't know. Console gamers are different than PC gamers, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see.
I'm just saying, in general, it's a thing to think about. They want you to buy it digitally.
It saves them money.
That's more money they save. Yeah.
Exactly. I prefer digital too, personally now, but I get the physical appeal.
I'm torn. I have both some digital games,
right,
and some physical games. I don't know. There's something very satisfying to have a game collection. I don't know. Just me. So let's go to the next point of nugget news thing. Nintendo announces its VR kit in a tweet. So we already knew this was coming. We've seen patents for stuff like headsets. We've seen programming in the patents for the original Switch that have it displayed as to be used in a sort of VR sense. So Nintendo has announced via their site that LabOh will be the company's way into VR. LabOh VR will be coming with some lens and a cardboard starter kit, or if you want to put the ante, get the more expensive variation with a bunch of games. Nintendo has talked about Switch VR for a while, and we know that it was in the code, like we said earlier, so this isn't really all that big of a surprise. The LabOh kit requires both of the Joy-Cons be attached to the Switch, and the Switch be used, like the Galaxy devices that slip into a VR unit on your head. The major difference is that the LabOh kit also connects to other LabOh kits to make the games work.
I didn't put it in here, but did you see the price point for these?
No.
It's $50, I think, for the kit, the starter kit, and like $80 for the full all the other kits. So it's pretty
LabOh's
reasonably
always
priced.
been expensive. LabOh itself has always been like around $100 or cheaper.
Right. And because it's all made out of cardboard. Specialized cardboard, but cardboard nonetheless.
So this to me is a very clear indicator that Nintendo is not targeting their VR toward the adult gamer. They're going to target it through LabOh to their younger audience.
Yeah, because even the packaging and stuff is all very like preteen.
It's very toy oriented. All of their LabOh things are their packaging looks like a toy. And we've talked earlier in the show about some just the things that the package indicates on the Switch. You know, if you look at at the other Nintendo consoles, they have kids on it, you know, just playing around. But the Switch, you know, it shows like adults playing it. It shows adults and kids playing it. It has a very more mature setup. So but this specifically looks like their VR is going to be exclusively targeted towards children through their LabOh line.
Right. And it's coming on the 12th. And like I said, it's reasonably cheap. But I also thought it was weird because, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Miyamoto that talked about VR?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Anyways, long story short is that they felt like the current offerings of VR weren't what they wanted to do for Nintendo. And they felt that they hadn't done it in a way that would work for Nintendo. So anyways, this totally fits in line with what they're doing with Switch. And it makes sense to me. I don't know. I saw it and I was like, that'll be really cool. I don't know if anybody will buy it. I don't know anybody who's bought LabOh at all. So I can't speak to it.
Buy it. I don't know anyone who's bought it, but most of the YouTubers that have bought it either because they were sponsored, so it was sent to them, or they did it just because they were like, it's a new Nintendo product that we've never seen before, so let's just see what it is, kind of thing.
Right. Which is what we were going to do originally, but it's expensive.
I thought LabOh actually sold pretty well, if I recall, on its release. It actually did pretty well. And you can assume they made a crap ton of money off of that, considering everything in there is just made of cardboard. So their production costs have to be like nothing.
Yeah, little to nothing. The coding is more expensive. Creating the little games is way more expensive than creating the product.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. LabOh could be cool in the future. I'm very interested to see how it grows because now they've shown that it's more applicable than just silly little mini games. So
I'm a little disappointed. I think that it will still be silly little mini games because I'd like to point something out to you. How do you control the Switch? How do you control the Switch for the motion games? The Joy-Cons.
Always with the Joy-Cons or the controller, yeah.
But for this setup, no. Nintendo always assumes that they assume you need one controller to play a game. You need one set of controllers to play a game. So why is it that this LabOh kit has the Joy-Cons attached to the side of the Switch?
Because if you're in the VR kit, you can only register your motion by the Joy-Cons. So when you're moving your head around, it's moving the Joy-Cons around.
So then what I'm saying is, how is this going to be any different from basically just a walk-around simulator is what I'm concerned with. There's no way to interact with the game if the Joy-Con are on the device that's strapped to your head.
Yeah, that's true. PSVR and Vive both have options to play with a controller. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from with that. That's true. But they use LabOh, the LabOh cardboard to kind of interact. If you look at the cardboard ends up being the controller, I guess. Is how they justify it. Oh, yeah,
with like the robot kit with all the strings. I do remember that.
Well, one of the ones for VR is a camera. So,
oh yeah, it uses the IR camera on the front.
Yeah.
So all right, I don't know. Let's move on to the next piece of news.
This one's strange. So the Xbox One port of Black Desert Online doesn't include any of the additional content that's been included in the game over the last 3 years. The game launched recently here on Xbox One in early access in its original 2016 form. So all of the original content, or all of the content that was in the PC version will be making its way to the game. But as it's currently in early access form, the devs are still making sure it runs properly and that they are managing the server loads correctly. So it's kind of like if they ported Destiny to PC, but then didn't include any of the expansions or updates. It was just like, here's the original version of Destiny. It's just like a very strange thing to do, especially because it's an MMO.
I've never played Black Desert, so
I haven't either. It gets a lot of credit for having very good character customization or character creator, but I have no interest really in playing it. So I only included it in here because I thought it was interesting that when they ported it, they were just like, well, you'll get all the stuff eventually. So probably could have put it in update news, honestly.
No, it's fine. Moving on to something I'm sure everyone's already heard about. The gift of Anthem keeps on giving. It is now bricking PS4s. That's right. If you thought it was bad enough to just keep crashing, nope. It's going to shut your console off, and it won't turn back on. The game launched on I almost started reading the Black Desert notes. Jeez Louise. The game, for some users on the PS4, caused it to shut down, and we're talking shut down all the way to like the restart screen. And then so people would go back in and play, and then it would crash again, and then this time it just wouldn't turn back on at all. Some players also had issues where the console is basically completely unresponsive to normal means. It won't turn on, or it won't even acknowledge it's connected to power. All this from a game. This is incredible. It's like fantastic. It's awesome. Like it is, as in it's so bad that it inspires awe. Like you created a game that bad. Players did find a way to get some of the PS4s to function normally by booting the system into safe mode and using the rebuild database option. EA has acknowledged the issue and has BioWare and the companies that are working with Sony to patch the game, along with fixing other issues such as weapon scaling not working. That's a point all of itself. People found that the starting gun, the gun that you start with, actually deals more damage than one of the masterworked like endgame weapons. So that makes sense, even though the numbers do not reflect that yet. EA announced that the issues are planned for a patch next week. So basically, if you're playing on PS4, I highly recommend that you just don't play. Until this is fixed. And in general, I advise you just don't play at all.
If I had to say, just don't play it. Anyways,
I own the game. The gameplay is cool,
I know you do.
But this game is.
This is like starting Destiny, to approach. But if Destiny didn't work,
this is approaching Fallout 76 versions of buggy. Like, don't get me wrong, the Fallout 76 was near unplayable at launch, like just about. And this is it's just getting worse as with the game being getting launched further. It got launched, it was crashing so much. They updated it, it's crashing substantially less. But now when it does crash, it bricks your console. So,
right. This is something I was researching it because I was interested in how it does this. Basically, what happens is it screws up the partition on the hard drive, right? And so that's what makes the PS4 freak out. This has happened with other games, but not to the scale that it has with Anthem. Apparently, the person that originally posted this when I was reading through it on Reddit, they said they also had this issue with the Kingdom Hearts remasters, 1.5 and 2.5. And so that's how they ended up figuring out the solution to the problem, is because they had to rebuild the database. But we're not seeing it in a way that it happened in that game where it was minuscule. It was happening. This is like a consistent thing. And apparently also it's more prolific on Pro than it is on base PS4. So if you have a PS4 Pro, apparently it's even worse. like the bugs and the game just crashing and stuff like that. I don't know because I don't have it on PS4. I don't know anybody that does have it on PS4. So all I can speak to is what we've been seeing. So, but yeah, it sucks because like Anthem could still be great, but they have a lot of work they need to do on it. So
definitely, this game is. I beat the main campaign, which wasn't that great, by the way, and I haven't really picked it back up. I've been playing a little bit of Destiny's new expansion. It's not about grinding. I like grinding. I like Destiny. I like the grind of Destiny. But this game is just it barely works. I'm so terrified that something else is going to happen, and next thing you know, I'm going to have a $500 Xbox One X brick, even though it's not the issue on the Xbox. It's just the fact of the matter. Like,
right, you're just scared of even booting the game up. Jeez,
I'm terrified. All right, so let's go to the next.
I've never been known of someone to be scared of a video game, and not like its content, but of its just existence.
Yeah. Now we're moving to the other big gaming superpower, Activision-Blizzard.
Oh boy! So Activision is being sued by its investors. Shocker. So the investors that had bought stock within the company before and during the time of the split with Bungie and Destiny are suing the company for not disclosing to them that the split was coming. The investors' case is that they were told that the company had valuable IP and was going to utilize it to make a bunch of money and then just let Bungie walk away with the IP for free, resulting in a company-wide shift, layoffs, and lower expected earnings in 2019. So essentially, they were like, look at this vast amount of stuff that we can do. We're going to make a bunch of money. Just kidding. We let go one of major pillars of our business. So
yeah,
I see where they were pissed off.
This was a big thing. The biggest thing was during an earnings call last year. They were talking about how talking about a quote long and prosperous future with Destiny and Bungie, and then less than a few months later, they announced that they're splitting. That's not good. That's definitely misleading.
Yeah, so I don't know how that'll end up being taken up with the courts. It might go poorly for them. I'm not really sure. But it says something, I think, specifically with Activision, because the only people Activision really care about pleasing are their investors. And I haven't even done that lately. So we'll have to see. Because they have Sekiro coming out this year. So at least they have like a new IP, technically. But who knows? I don't know if that's something that they're going to try to annualize or if it's just like a one-off deal with From. Who knows? So that's all I have really to say about it. Because
From Software is making it?
Yeah, From Software is making it. So yeah, it was like the weirdest collab when they were like, "Oh, Activision's making this game with From Software." We're like, "What? Why?"
They made No Man's Sky, right?
No. What?
From Software. What did From Software make? I'm drawing a blank.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. That's it. I was like,
yeah, they made Dark Souls.
What am I thinking? Oh, Hello Games makes.
Hello Games, yeah. Hello Games.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, they made what? I'm losing it. I'm sorry.
Reality is unwinding.
So,
EA?
With EA. Sorry, I'm still losing it.
I'm trying to get you back on track.
I'm in the process of losing it. Back to EA, some gaming superpower. They're going to be changing how its E3 conferences work. EA has put out a statement on their site regarding EA Play, their yearly E3 conference. EA listed a few things that they will be changing. From a quote from them, quote, "This year you'll see less talk and more play with an event entirely focused on the heartbeat of EA Play, our player communities and the games they love. Hands-on with some of their biggest games, exclusive content for some of the most popular creators in the world, and it's free for all to attend." So that's kind of nice if you want to go to an E3 thing and not pay a crap ton of money. Yeah. The event will kick off Friday, June 7th, which is ahead of E3's June 11th start. There will be no press conference, but multiple live streams that will air during the first 2 days of the event. EA says this will be, quote, bringing you more of what you've told us you want. More gameplay and insights from teams making the games. Hopefully not BioWare. EA will run their fan fest during the weekend and allow players to get hands-on with their games, whether that's new announcements or updates to old titles that we will have to see. This is when they're gonna reveal, hey, we've made Anthem somewhat less bad. So great.
Hey, we've put out all of the DLC for Anthem. Play it. It's good now.
Hey. If it bricks your console, we have a bundle for you to buy an entirely new console with Anthem.
We're proud to announce that we've partnered with Microsoft to announce the Anthem bundle won't brick your PS4 because now you have an Xbox.
Yeah, we're going to call this the Revival bundle. Your console gets bricked.
Oh
Here's a. Oh, I definitely just punched my mic right now. Whoops. That hurt my hand. Son of a gun. Let's just move on. Now I'm thinking about Anthem and my hand hurts. So I'm just getting more negative feelings.
Great. So the Forza team has revealed the next Forza game, Forza Street, and it's probably not what you're expecting. The Forza team accidentally left the title of the upcoming game in a blog post on their site. The game is going to be for mobile devices and will be developed by Electric Square instead of Turn 10. So you're getting a mobile Forza game, if that's your thing.
I'm getting a marble.
I don't really care about mobile games, but Microsoft and Sony both seemed interested in creating mobile games. Nintendo as well, but they've kind of slowed their roll on that. So I don't know if this is going to be something we see going forward with people creating mobile games, but Microsoft stayed pretty clear of it, I think, so far.
Yeah, relatively.
So that's pretty much it. Unless you have something to talk about with the Forza, that's the end of the news.
I am not big on Forza, and by not big on Forza, I just don't care for racing games. Unless it's Mario Kart, but that's not really a racing game. That's a racing game that at the same time is just a life ruiner.
Kart racers more than we like racing sims.
Give us Diddy Kong Racing.
I would be okay with that.
Give us a mobile version of Diddy Kong Racing, and I'm down. Just a quick reminder. A quick reminder before we log out. This news, even though we list the news as being non-biased, of course we're going to be somewhat biased because we're gamers. We have games we like and we have games we don't like. So of course I'm crapping on Anthem, and I'm sure that there are a whole bunch of other players out there who are like, let's give it a chance and this and that. So just remember that, we're not IGN, we're not GameSpot, we have opinions. So,
and no offense to any of those companies, but we don't have any relationship with them. So there's nothing riding on us whether we give them positive or negative feedback. And I think we're pretty fair on the feedback. Very rarely do we just poke with a stick just to poke with a stick.
I do. There's usually what do you mean? Rarely. We do that all the time.
What do you mean?
We poke with the stick all the time.
Okay, but does Anthem deserve to be poked with a stick over its bugs? I believe so. So there is it's not just
in our opinion, we don't do it to games that don't deserve it.
More or less, yeah. It's not like, haha, this game's crap because I don't know. We don't I don't shit on Destiny 2.
Yeah, Destiny 2. We have. We have, but now since it's apparently good, we haven't. I'm enjoying it very much.
That's like the tagline of 2018-2019 games. It's good now. You should play it.
Oh my gosh, yes! I need to send that to someone. The entire games industry in 2019, come back. The game is good now.
It's good now. Why wasn't it good when you first put it out? That's when it should be good. Jesus. So,
cheese and rice. Let me tell you. All right, try and check us out at least once a week. That's how often we try and do this. But we are going to go ahead and get out of here. I am Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And we will see you next time.
Goodbye, friends.
We're gone.